Hello everyone. My name is Anita Singh, your science teacher from Shri Rama Bharti Public School. Today I will explain few topics from wind and storm. So let's start. Now first of all, we should know what is air and what is wind. Air, I hope you all know. You know that the air is all around us and we cannot see the air. We can only feel the presence of air. It is present all around us and we can feel the presence of air. So the moving air is called wind. What is wind? The moving air is called wind. Now the pressure which is exerted by air, the pressure which is exerted by air, it is called air pressure. And this air exerts pressure in all direction and all objects. Means whatever pressure is exerted by air, that is exerted in all directions and all objects. So the pressure exerted by air, it depends on temperature and altitude. The pressure which is exerted by air, it also depends on the temperature and the altitude. Now what is atmosphere? The earth is surrounded by an envelope of air, or we can say a layer of air, or we can say a blanket of air, which is known as atmosphere. The earth surrounded by envelope of air called atmosphere. The atmosphere exerts pressure on the earth due to the weight of the air. Again, I'm repeating, the atmosphere exerts pressure on each and every object which is present on the earth's surface. And this is due to the weight of the air. And this pressure is known as atmospheric pressure. Now, we will see one activity. Before that, we should know that the atmospheric pressure decreases with altitude. The atmospheric pressure, it always decreases with altitude. And the magnitude of the atmospheric pressure on top of a mountain is less than the pressure at sea level, right? Because the atmospheric pressure is maximum where at sea level. Now here you can see one activity is there. This activity shows how the air exerts pressure. For that, we can take transparent glass or cup and a cupboard, and the cupboard and plastic sheet. Or we can say take a paper also. Now we can fill the glass with water till its brim and with no trapped air bubble inside the glass. Then we can cover it with a cupboard lid, or we can cover it with a paper, right? And then we can put our hand there and slightly we can remove our hand. And what we observe that that sheet will not fall down. It will stick there only. Why? Simply because the air pressure pushing up cardboard, because the air pressure is pushing at the cardboard, and this cardboard is, and it prevents the cardboard from falling off, and this shows that air exerts pressure. Now the second activity is how to show the presence of atmospheric pressure. For that we need a metal tin or metal can with a tight cap, then water as well as burner or stove to warm it, to heat, to give the heat, and a pair of tongs. Now we will fill about 1/3 of the can. Listen very carefully, 1/3 of the can with water, and keep the can without its cap on the stove or burner, and then will boil the water. We will boil until a lot of steam escapes, and using a pair of tongs we will remove the can from the stove, and then uh, we will close the can's mouth with the cap tightly. Now what we will do, now we will pour cold water on the can, and what we observe, that the can gets crushed. The can gets crushed when we pour cold water. Why it happens? This is because the steam produced during boiling water pushes out most of the air inside the can. But when the cold water is poured, the steam left inside the can, it condenses again and form water. So The pressure of the air inside the can becomes less than the pressure that is outside the can. So, this great atmospheric pressure crushes the can from all the sides, thus indicates the presence of atmospheric pressure. Now, you can see one context is given here. There was once German scientist, and what he do, takes he take two metallic copper, we can say the copper hemisphere, and cut and two semicircle, and then he placed these two hemispheres, or we can say the semicircles, together, but he removed all the air which is present in between this sphere with the help of suction pump. Then he tried to separate these two semicircle or two hemispheres apart, and what he observed, that he is not able to remove uh, to uh, to separate these two hemispheres. Why? Because it happens due to the atmospheric pressure. Because atmospheric pressure has a huge impact. Because it has a huge impact. Air expands on heating. The volume of a given amount of air depends on its temperature. Earlier also I explained this. As we increase the temperature of the air, its volume also increases, because we know the particles, they start moving apart and the air expands on heating. Air becomes lighter, so it expands due to the decrease in its density and thus rises up in the atmosphere. For that, you can see a small activity is there. We can take a balloon and we can take water bottle, and in a pan we can take hot water. We fixed a slightly inflated balloon to the mouth of the bottle, and then we place the bottle in a pan which is filled with hot water. And what we see, the balloon gets inflated gradually when the bottle is kept in the hot water. Why? Because the hot water heats the air which is present inside inside the bottle, and then it starts moving upside and it inflates the balloon. This shows that the air expands on heating. So this is all about today, and it's time to say goodbye.